Hey guys, Snoozy here, and today we will be taking a look at Fellowship. Now, Fellowship's a bit of an interesting game, and it's really easy to explain if you're a World of Warcraft player, but for those of you who aren't a current World of Warcraft player, or haven't played since like Legion, where the Mythic dungeons were involved, we're going to go ahead and just give you a quick catch-up. So the whole game is based around doing dungeons with either random people or your friends in a group of 4. You get 1 tank, 2 damage dealers, and 1 healer, and you all try to survive and end the dungeon. Eventually, once you hit a certain difficulty, it'll turn into almost exactly like Mythic dungeons from World of Warcraft. And that's where you're gonna really start seeing the timers and stuff like that come into play. When you're just coming into quick play, you just load into the dungeon, it gives you a team, and off you go and you play the dungeon. This is really where all the new players get dropped off, and it's a really good starting area to try to play, different characters, because there are a bunch. Now, once you get to the higher difficulties, you're going to have timers, and you're going to have to beat the dungeon in that timer, but you can't just run straight to the end boss either. Every dungeon's going to have so many monsters that need killed, and not all monsters are equal. A lot of the monsters that are like smaller, have low health, stuff like that. They don't really give you a lot of progress towards the end of it. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need routes, and at the higher levels, it's just like Mythic Dungeons where you need set routes, coordination. DPS and tank need to be kicking and interrupting spell casts. Healers need to be on top of their game. The game gets very difficult. I am not at that level. I was really never a Mythic Plus player. I think I hit like 2 KIO once, and like it's not my thing. I'm not a big fan of the timers. This game's really fun, has some different mechanics that I do enjoy. So that's the basics of the game. That's the whole thing. But what's interesting here is you can play all these different characters, and unlike World of Warcraft, where you have to level them all up, there's no levels really. There's talents and stuff you'll gain, but there's no real go in the world, go kill zebras for 10 hours in the barrens hoping you get 4 of their hooves that are in pristine condition. You just log in, pick your character, and you're there. You're doing dungeons. You're yeah, that's it. Um so let's get into some of these heroes. You have Helena for one of the tanks. She likes to do shieldy things and throw the shield. There's not really direct comparisons to World of Warcraft. There's a lot of like mixing and matching. But currently there are only 2 tanks. I would say Helena is probably the easier of the tank. Now keep in mind, I'm not doing high level, high ranked. I'm like in the first challenge tier. So by all means, could be incorrect. But playing the both of them, I think Miko, however you want to pronounce her name, is a lot more difficult for me. She's very interesting. So for her, she goes through and has like 3 basic attacks, and depending on the combo, she can use her combo ability and it'll do different things. You'll get like a storm around you, or you'll do a big kick, stuff like that. So you're mixing and weaving in your abilities to get a different combo, and she's a tank. She has a lot of self heals. She's a lot for me. She seems very good though. All of the heroes seem pretty good. There's some differences with like the scaling and when they really come online. Some of the heroes seem like maybe they need some more of the talents unlocked. Damage dealer, this is your typical frost mage, Rhyme. She is really fun as well. I've actually been thinking maybe making her my main for my DPS. You got your big two-handed Taric player, and one of the things I really wanted to point out here is they have the playstyle down here on these heroes, and they give you a little bit info. Like he's got a builder spender, he like sells in the front lines. They have a little difficulty here. I'm not sure how accurate the difficulty is. This is Mara. She's more of your stealth assassin kind of person. She's pretty fun. She was what I played in the closed beta or alpha, I think. I didn't do too much with her, but I had a good time. Alarion is going to be your typical bow user with some astral stuff in place with the stars and alignments and stuff like that. Pretty fun. Artios, he doesn't normally look like this. I do have some skins turned on. This is the Halloween skin that I forgot to turn off for him. Normally he doesn't have a pumpkin head. If you're looking at this video and it's still like early November, late October, the Halloween is up. You can go do the Halloween event. You play 10 of any dungeons with any of the heroes and you unlock the skin for them. No cash needed. You just get that. He is a fire mage that does a bunch of dots, and then he ignites and bursts them all at once and does a bunch of damage with it. He's very interesting. He seems pretty fun as well. He was another character I was really playing with. My current name is not name, is Sylvie. She is a healer that uses butterflies and vines. She can put butterflies on your allies and they'll heal over time and do the blue butterfly on her, and then she'll heal everybody else more. Or she can put the blue butterfly usually on the tank who needs more healing, and he'll take more healing from her. It's also worth noting when the blue butterfly is on her, she heals everybody, I think currently 50% more, and I think it's 100% if it's on the tank. And she spits out a lot of vines and summons plants. And when the plants die, they turn into mushrooms, and then you can use the mushrooms to do damage, or if you spec into it, like heal your friends. She's really fun. She seems pretty easy in the beginning. I can quickly see how this ramps up, though. There are a couple times I've gotten tanks where they're doing these massive pools, and I just struggle to keep them up. She doesn't have a lot of strong healing burst. She seems to be a lot like how the disc priests were in World of Warcraft, where it's really important to know when the damage is coming and then prep for it, and then that way you have all your hots and stuff rolling and everything where it needs to be to get through it. She's really fun though. I really like her. Vigor's another one. He's also very good. I haven't got a lot of time to play him. He's a lot more of casting a heal, and then I guess later on he gets into where he can do his runes, and he's doing a bunch of like shielding and stuff like that with the rune mechanic. I haven't played him a lot. So currently you only have the 2 tanks, the 2 healers, and then the 5 damage dealers. So let's go ahead and take a look at Elarion, because he's currently the one that I'm working on getting skin for. I'm trying to get the skins for all of them, but man, the tank ones are rough for me because I don't like to prep and look at routes and then use those routes to get things done. It's kind of frustrating for me personally. A lot of people like that though. So if you like doing the routes, setting the pacing, the games like this always need more tanks. Before we start getting into like the combat and stuff, what's also really cool is you can edit your HUD and drag stuff around and do whatever you need to, which is super nice. You can move almost anything. I think anything that has like the purple borders and stuff around it, you can move around, which is really nice. The other thing in here, it's like if you click on this, you can change. I don't do that one. Do this, the party frames. You can actually change the grow direction. So if you want them up and down, they're left and right by default. I prefer them up and down. You can change that. You can change where the buff placement are. I was looking at their patch notes. They have it indicated that they want to do more with the buffs and debuffs. So there's a lot more like the UI stuff coming. It's not quite in the game yet, but this is pretty good. It works pretty well. I don't really have any complaints. My big complaint when I started the game, and this was a big complaint I had in alpha, beta, whatever it was, the first time I played, I did no research, hopped in. I was very frustrated because I didn't think you could change the order of this. I didn't think you could re-keybind everything. I couldn't figure it out because I'm a WoW player. I'm going to go in, I'm going to go to settings, I'm going to go into interface, and I'm going to, or not interface, input, and I'm going to try to find where I can keybind this stuff, and I couldn't find how to keybind it, and I'm like, that's really silly. Because I like my stuff in very particular places. Like, I want my kicks on all classes that have them. I want it on Q. That's where I have my kick. That's where I want it. That's the muscle memory of when I want to interrupt something. It's right there. So it's actually a pretty good system here. I don't know if I missed it in the tutorial or if it wasn't in the tutorial, but either way, I missed it. I feel like I can't be alone because when I was looking into this, I saw other people complaining about this. All you have to do, like if I wanted to put Celestial Shot on like Shift 2, you could right click Celestial Shot and click, and now it's here. If I don't want it there, you can click that out. You can also then click Set Keybind Slot, and then you could press whatever keybind you want, and then it'll bind it. I have most of my stuff set up the way I want it. Short of these 3 slots, I gotta figure out what I want to do with these ones yet, but I only have this slot, I think, used on like 1 character so far, so not too big of a deal. We'll get there, we'll figure it out. You'll get your mounts and stuff like that as well as you play. The really silly thing to me is the mount is the reward from like the first dungeon you do. But when you do like a play into the quick play, which is like what you're going to have to do when you're brand new to the game, you have to go to quick play. There'll be players there that already have their mounts, like most of the players, since if it's not your first time playing, and they'll just mount up, and the tank will just run through the dungeon and pull big groups, and you don't have a mount, so you're just walking. Get a little dash ability, you can do that, and now I gotta wait a little bit. Now I can't do it anymore. So I think that's a little silly. I think the mount should just be given by default. I mean, I guess it's a minor thing. It's the first one, right? Who cares? Big deal. But that was my little annoyances from trying to figure it out to begin with. The other thing that's nice, in the top right, here's the rewards. So this is what I was talking about. You start right here, and this is branches out. So once you complete a dungeon with any hero, so you only have to, it's literally your first game, you just won't have your mount, and then after that you'll get your mount for all of your other heroes, all the new ones. It's only the first one. It's such a minor thing, but you'll get your mount unlocked after your first one. And then over here you'll see if I complete one dungeon, then I get to unlock my ultimate ability. If I complete 2 dungeons, then I'll get a talent row and a talent point. Complete 3, then you get this, and etc. all the way up until you're pretty much done leveling. And you can be done leveling essentially at level 16, or 16 dungeons done. You have all of your abilities, you'll unlock a little skin, and some other stuff here. This is all character specific. This, I believe, is a count. And then over here, this is going to be character specific as well. So when I say you mostly have all your stuff by doing this stuff, that's a little bit of a lie. So like right now, this character is in the contender league. So I need to get my dungeon rating to 900. At 900 dungeon rating, I'll get another talent point. You get dungeon rating by completing dungeons. And eventually, once you get to difficulty 4, I believe it is, that's when the timer comes on play. And then timing the dungeon will get you additional points as well. And that'll go all the way up to, I think the highest is this one. We get the spider at 10,000 dungeon rating. And my understanding is this is pretty hard. I think Eternal mode is the only mode you cannot queue into right now. And I believe the devs are going to add a queue for that. So I think all the way up to Paragon, you can just randomly queue in for a group. There's no, like in World of Warcraft, sitting in that LFG, like sorting through people applying to your group and then kicking them out and then bringing them back in, stuff like that. Really nothing for you to do there. Now, the other thing that I really like about this does give you that character progression without the grind. Because the whole point of the game is to do the dungeons, and you're going to do dungeons anyways because that's all there is to do in this game. There is only dungeons at this point. So, unless you're just sitting in town doing nothing, it seems like a waste of time and money, but hey, you're going to be doing dungeons, you're going to be crawling, and you get a little progression with the talent points. And this is some of the balancing feedback I've seen on like Reddit and stuff like that. And again, I'm not up here. I don't have any characters up here. This is from a new player perspective. That some characters might take a little bit longer to get online and require some more talent points. And if you don't really have like an early game progression to get your character through, some characters might be a little underpowered until they get their full kit, which might not come online until one of these later leagues. So that's something I hope the devs keep an eye on, is that characters have a path forward where it's just not like this character is terrible until they get to like Paragon League and then they pop off. Like that's just really something I hope that they can get through. On top of that, you have your talents, and these are the talent rows that you unlock. So originally, like, you won't have any of these unlocked. I didn't even know I could see through here. That's cool. I can go and see what these are. I thought I couldn't see them until I unlocked them. So you'll get your talent points up here, and you'll notice I have 3 talent points. It's important to note, you can see the number here, or if you hover over, it'll tell you. The first row costs 2 talent points. So I have 1 left. So not each row is individual. There's 1 point. You can also, if I didn't want to do this, I could do this. You can take the whole row if you have talent points. It's not a pick one, go to the next row kind of scenario. So you can do a lot of mix and matching. There seems to be some clear builds that are ahead of each other, but that's really going to be any game nowadays with a talent build. Somebody that's smart and puts the time in is going to figure it out, post it online, and then everybody's going to copy it because it just performs really well. So I really do like that I can put like talent points into any of these. On top of that, you have your inventory with your equips. You have a lot of items that you can equip. I'm not far enough along yet, but eventually, I think it's once you get a purple weapon, you can actually get a talent tree and some skills and stuff like that. I believe with it. I think you get a weapon skill. I'm pretty sure there's a talent tree as well with it. I'm not entirely sure on that though. So there is a little bit more progression there as well, and then you have your gems that you can put in that do all kinds of different things. Keeps track of all the dungeons. So these are the dungeons that are in the game. And these are the capstone dungeons. So when I want to get out of the league, so let's go look at the leagues here. This is quick play, and then it's called a challenge league. So you have like contender, adept, champion, paragon. You have to work your whole way up there. There's also the eternal, which is over here on this tab that you cannot queue into. But if I wanted to go do a challenge mode, I could press contender, find game. I'm solo right now, but it will find 3 other players, put me in a game, and in the challenge mode, it'll give you 3 maps with 3 different I don't know if it's always 3 different difficulties, but you'll have different difficulties for each map. So you might be like, maybe it's like a 3, 4, 5 scenario. So 4 and 5 would have a timer, but 3 wouldn't. And then there might be different maps. And then as a team, you're able to like real quick at a glance look over, see, okay, this is their dungeon rating and this is their item level rating. I don't think we can handle that 5, but I think we can do a 4. And then each person casts their vote, and then off you go. So I really like that voting mechanic. The problem I'm seeing with it is I run a lot of the same dungeons over and over, and it's really hard to sometimes get that rating that I need to try to get up there. I'm not really sure a good fix for that. I think I prefer this system over the WoW Keystone. There was nothing worse than like getting a keystone and now your keystone is just this terrible dungeon you hate. And I don't know. I like the voting system. I think it'd be really fun. I've only really played solo. I think with a 4-person crew, it'd be really fun though, because you can just rotate and talk on Discord on which one you want to do and get all your stuff done. High end game, even leveling, playing with your friends is probably always going to be better as long as they're on like the same skill level as you for callouts and stuff like that. If you just really want to just play the game, you really don't like high difficulty things, you want like a more casual experience, you can just totally stay inside of this quick play and just keep doing that. I think it would get really boring for a lot of people. Quick play, if people know what they're doing with this game, quick play is very easy. I struggled a little bit when I was healing in quick play, especially when I have no gear or anything like that right off the rip, and then they're just pulling like half the dungeon, but they don't really have the gear or the know-how, because there was a difference. I've seen some tanks have like the same rating, and they just die. Like I'm just sitting there spamming every heal I got, trying to keep them alive. And man, I can't do anything. And then I have had tanks that have like the near the same item level, like in quick play, and they'll pull half the dungeon, and we're just chilling. It's just fun. We're done. 2 pools, easy. Um, so yeah, it's a bit weird at times. Quick play is a very casual mode. There's usually not a lot of difficulty. It's a good place to play and just see what's kind of going on, like what you enjoy, what's going to be fun, stuff like that. So those are the different modes. One of the things that I do really like, and we'll get to the combat, I know guys, over here, there's a tutorial to take you and it'll tell you what you're doing and where all the stuff is. But here's where you can get your stuff, and these take supplies which drop out of quick mode. So you can, and these are account bound, so you can make a new character and then buy all this stuff right off the rip. Just keep in mind you won't have your talent points if you're trying to go straight into the leagues. Same with the mounts. You can buy all your mounts in here. These ones require gold, but some of them require achievements, like this one. Or not achievements, I'm sorry, dungeon rating. You need 3,320 dungeon rating to purchase. Now while I'm running my next thing, I'm going to just go briefly. This is apparently going to be a seasonal game where progression is apparently wiped from what I'm hearing. I'm not entirely sure if that means cosmetics or how that's officially going to work. That's probably going to change between what they're thinking now and when that eventually happens. So if you're not into seasonal games, you might want to really look into that for yourself and see if that's going to be okay for you, or maybe this just isn't quite the game for you. This is for the Halloween event. So if you're like I said, a late October, early November, seeing as how this is the 31st, I'm probably going to upload this video, go live on November 1st, pretty much November 1st on to whenever this ends. I think the 11th maybe. Do 10 dungeons, you can get this. Or if you can have the gold, you can buy the mounts out of the shop. But each character you need to play 10 games with. Quick plays count. Quick plays are probably the fastest way of getting this done if you're interested in getting them all. And it's important to note, none of those cosmetics cost real life currency. They are all absolutely free for playing the game. Of course, you will have to buy the game for $25. On Steam is the one place you can buy it. I'm not sure if it's on the other platforms. I just use Steam. So the combat is extremely simple and similar to WoW. So for this character, your focus shot will just go ahead and do the normal damage and get you, just the procs. And a lot of these abilities are very intricate with each other, which is important for you to deal with and read. So this one, we're looking to try to get the proc, and I'm just not apparently getting it. I don't know if it doesn't proc here, or if I'm just having really bad luck. I've never had this much bad luck in... There it goes. I've never had that much bad luck in an actual dungeon. So now you'll see that they have that buff on there, and then that's when you can really start pumping out damage. And every time it procs, it'll do additional damage. And there's some really weird like combinations too. So like for this one, we're using it there just because it hits hard. But if it would ricochet into 3 enemies, we would get a multi-shot proc. I think there's more down here, so this should count. There we go. So here, if I do this with the same ability, now multi-shot will pop up, and you can shoot those out. So it's really important for you to read your abilities. You don't get too many abilities. It doesn't overwhelm you in World of Warcraft. You're not going to have actually all these abilities I have. You'll have even less when you first start, and it eases you in there. That's really where the reward system comes online, and you start getting your new abilities and stuff like that. So you'll go through. There's also almost every character seems to have their personal cooldown, which is about 40% reduced damage, like for DPS characters. And they're really short, so you just want to activate that before you take damage. I think almost everybody, if not everybody, has their movement skills. A lot of the kits are very similar in their utility, stuff like that, like movement, a defensive. You'll get like a buff that increases your damage. Every class will get an ult that really does something important for them. The ults all seem pretty relevant and pretty close to like what you would expect for the character once you start thinking about them. It's a really good time. I recommend the game if you are into World of Warcraft Mythic Dungeons. It's really fun. There's a lot to do, the different characters. They're going to be adding more characters, I guess. I'm really interested to see how that is. The devs have said that there's not going to be any pay to win in the game. They're thinking of just doing cosmetics. Right now, I don't even think there is a cash shop, except for on Steam, you can buy some supporter packs that give skins and mounts. I think they're $20 a piece. I think there's 3 of them. Completely optional. You don't have to do that. You could just not spend money and just play the game, other than the $25 to buy it, unless you get it on sale or something. There's a bunch of different skins in the game that you can get unlocked just playing. They're pretty much recolors of each other. So like the greens are like recolors of the blues are recolors of the blues, stuff like that. The recolors do have some requirements. Like this one's 8,355 dungeon rating. This one's 45. This one is the Steam supporter pack, so you get this from this $20 pack on Steam. This one, if we do our Halloween event sometime, we'll get this unlocked. And then this one was a Twitch drop that I think I missed, unfortunately. Couldn't figure that out, so... a little bandana on the back. That's the other thing. You can actually take stuff on and off. So, like, if I don't want the helmet, or the shoulder pads, or his little... oh, I can't really see it because of his bow. His little cape there. Hopefully you can see it. But it's one I want to say it's like one character. Like, you log in, you pick your name, and like all my characters are gonna be named Snoozy, and I can just swap hero. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna go back to Sylvie. Boom. My bars are all set up. You can have different bars. You can have them set up. There's stashes. This is her movement skill. She just runs really fast and loses a little bit of aggro. You have your stash over here that doesn't seem to be account bound. But overall, it's a very fun game. If you like World of Warcraft Mythic Dungeons, it is going to be a great game for you. If you don't like World of Warcraft Mythic Dungeons, you probably want to pass on this game. This is pretty much only Mythic Dungeons. If you have not played World of Warcraft Mythic Dungeons, but you like group-based MMOs with a holy trinity such as tank, DPS, healer, and you like the concept of trying to beat a timer and clearing the dungeon, I think you'll really enjoy this game. There's no subscription fee. It's a box price of $25 and you're done. And yeah, I think the devs have come out and said that they don't plan on adding like DLCs that cost more money, stuff like that. Um, Obviously, we'll see if that stays. I have no reason to believe it won't. Just, money talks. So overall, very fun game. I like that you can change the UI. I like the different characters. I like only having one. There's literally only the dungeons in this game. I don't know if they're gonna add raids. It would be nice. I think raids would be really fun in here. Um, the bosses and the dungeons are well made in my opinion. Again, I'm not a top tier Mythic Plus player on WoW by any means. I usually just mess around with it in friends to kill some time and have a good time. But overall, it is a very fun game. If you want to see actual gameplay, I'm not going to include it in this video because we're already getting really long. I'm going to have some other videos hopefully coming up on this game. I'm going to try to go live here shortly, and I'm just going to link in the description that, hey, if you want gameplay, go look at this, and you'll have the VOD. I think I just want to make this as, here's what this game is, here how it is, stuff like that. So hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys liked it. I know there's a lot of me rambling in here, but there's a lot in this game. I want to make sure you guys know what you're getting into, especially before you spend the $25 on there. So that's it for me. I hope you guys learned something and had fun, and I'll talk to you guys later. Toodles.